I have a video of Michael Irvin that was shit. Fuck. Damn. Ow. That hurt. Here we go. Damn. Fucking wind. Ow.
Well, good Friday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here. Let's wake up the football gods. Wake up, guys. We need you guys to smile down on this Dallas Cowboys team. Man, it's getting crazy. You know, I'm excited. I've got a lot of work to do in the next 48 hours because 48 hours from now, I'll be on an airplane flying out to Oxnard. I don't know how many people I'll see out there. I know my man Law Nation will be there. I know the Law Nation will be there. I know that the Dallas Cowboys players will be out there. And I can't wait to get there. I know that I've been mad and angry at this team, but you know, like any relationship, there is no 100% perfect relationship out there. And you know, when you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you got to put up with the bull jiggity that goes on with the Dallas Cowboys. And unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with. And right now, as we sit here in week number 2, finishing week number 2, we're still waiting on getting CD Lamb and under contract and in there. We're still talking about Dak Prescott. And maybe, just maybe, Jerry Jones's idea of having people basically fighting for their job. Okay? This is a battle royale to say who's going to be here after this year. This is a big gamble because I will tell you, for whatever reason, it seems like players, and maybe this is Jerry Jones's thinking, that players in a contract year seem to perform typically better and usually above what they have done in the past. I'll give you a great example. Jason Hatcher was a really good defensive lineman for the Cowboys. He averaged about 3 or 4 sacks a year until his contract year. His contract year, he bumped up there to 11. This is 2013, to 11 sacks. 11 sacks. In which case he was a free agent. The Commanders said, oh, we got to get that guy. That guy is definitely a playmaker. They signed him to a fat contract. And you know what? Jason Hatcher went back to 3-4 sack guy. I don't know that players say, I'm going to give it all because I'm trying to get that contract, and then they ease up. It might all just be coincidental. But it seems like you see guys have career years when it's time to get paid. And I'm thinking that Jerry Jones is saying exactly that. You have a guy like Osa Ndigizua. Osa, you know, he is on the last year of his deal. In his rookie year, he had 2 sacks, 36 tackles. Second year, he had 4 sacks, 43 tackles. Last year, he had 46 tackles, the peak of his career, and 3 sacks. And he put it out there that, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, I'm going to have my best year so that way I can get the chunk of that pie. So you're looking at a guy that said, I'm all in. I'm all in to get paid. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they look and say, man, I can't live without this guy. Now, I will say one thing about the Cowboys that they do. They always believe in their guys. And sometimes they believe in their guys too much to the point where they decide, we can't live without that guy. He's homegrown talent. We got to hold on to him. And then they end up paying the big contract. You could look at a situation like with Zeke Elliott. With Zeke, they looked at it and they said, well, Zeke, you know, he's one of the best running backs in football, and we can't live without him. We're going to have to pay him, a max contract here and keep him in the fold. But ignoring statistically the problem with running backs. Running backs typically, after year 4, go downhill. The wear and tear, you only have so many hits in your body. That's not to say that there's not an Adrian Peterson. That's to say there's not a Frank Gore. That's to say that there's not a Barry Sanders out there. But those are few and far between. Those are more the exception than the rule. And you have to look on it and say, maybe the Cowboys might have been better off saying, you know what, we're going to let Zeke go. You could look at it and say what they did with Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup, he had, first half of his rookie year was okay, but he started playing really well the second half. And then his sophomore year, he played outstanding. The next year, the numbers kind of came down a little bit. Then the numbers came down a bit more, and he started having injuries. The Cowboys, instead of saying, maybe we should go ahead and let him go, or sign him to one more year coming off of the injury and do that as a prove-it deal, they said, we believe in that guy. And they signed him to a contract that was not worth what they did. Basically, they spent about $38 million for 800 yards of production. And herein lies the problem. They believe in their guys. Sometimes you're better off saying, let me let that guy go. In which they've done that a little bit this year, and they've gotten killed for it. But you think about how the New England Patriots were during their dynasty. They'd have no problem taking a guy who might be a Pro Bowler and trading him with Cleveland to get high draft picks and to avoid having the salary cap issues. The problem for the Cowboys is when they end up letting the guy go, there's no trade value. They're getting nothing in return. They overpay him for the production, and then they end up getting nothing when they go. We got nothing for Zeke when we let him go. We got nothing for DeMarcus Ware when we let him go. We got nothing for Dez Bryant when we let him go. And you maybe need to start thinking differently of, A, being a better trader than giving up an Amari Cooper for a 5th round. But maybe looking and saying, maybe the year before I have to pay that guy or he becomes a free agent, maybe that's where I should look at trying to trade and get great value. Because honestly, how the Cowboys got to be the Dallas Cowboys in the dynasty was doing that with Herschel Walker. We seem to be stuck on, we have to find these guys, keep them cheap, and keep them. And that gets you so far, but it doesn't get you all the way there. Now, the one position that it's difficult is the quarterback. I remember talking with Game Time Brian, where we were talking about Justin Herbert, okay, beginning of the year and things. We had the conversation of, what if Dak Prescott has a great season and wants to get paid? People were saying, then let him walk. If he wants to get paid and have a max contract, screw him, let him go. And I was saying, who would you rather have? Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, or Dak Prescott? And they would say, well, the upside for these guys is so much higher. They're younger and everything else, right? Oh, yeah, they're great. Their ceiling is higher than Dak Prescott. Well, here we have Justin Herbert, who his sophomore year had an incredible year. I think he had 38 TDs. But since that time, he's come back down to earth. And here it is yesterday in practice. It looks like he ends up having a plantar fasciitis injury. He's going to be in a walking boot for the next 2 weeks. And then they're going to get him out of the walking boot and have to try and get him back up to speed. You can look at Joe Burrow, who last year had a multitude of injuries. He couldn't practice in training camp because of the calf injury. Now he's got the short hair and the blonde and all that and things and looking like the wrestler. You don't know what you don't know. And when you say potential of somebody, maybe they never reach it. Maybe a guy just happened to have a really good year. You think about Jordan Love, and Jordan Love may be the real deal. But Jordan Love basically got paid off of 9 games, specifically the one game against the Dallas Cowboys. We don't know if he just ended up having a great first season, and this is before defensive coordinators and defenses understand what he does well. Because what happens is, in the offseason, you have people that are paid to watch every aspect of your game, to find out your tendencies, to find out if there's a little, look that you get and to know what you're doing. I said last year, Eagle fans, they're busting my chops. They're constantly busting my chops. But what I said last year, as I said, check this out, and I was 100% right. I said, what's going to happen with Jalen Hurts, defensive coordinators are going to look at Jalen Hurts because so many times late in the game, Jalen Hurts would be the hero because he'd have a great run right up the middle. You would see everything part like the Red Sea. I said, Jalen Hurts may have a great season, but I said, I guarantee you that he's going to have to go around the outside because defensive coordinators are going to look and say, we have got to cover the middle and make sure that we don't have the parting of the Red Sea. Because that's where Jalen Hurts will kill you, right up the middle. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened with the exception of the tush push. We don't know if Jalen Hurts' peak season, like Justin Herbert was that second year and went to the Super Bowl. This past year, without his legs, didn't quite look the same. We'll see. And we'll see if it's going to be that they have the consistency there long term or not. The thing you got to say about Dak Prescott is he has been consistently there. He's had 37 TDs. He's had 36 TDs. He's had 30 TDs. He had 1 year where he turned over, but he did have a broken thumb. But you look at it and you talk about he's up here with his numbers versus a bunch of guys that you say their ceiling might be higher. Maybe it is, but will they ever reach it? And it seems like Dak Prescott understands that. And yesterday, kind of shots fired towards the Dallas Cowboys and letting them know, again, this is the second time. The experience that I've had, the confidence that I have in myself and this team, the knowledge has grown. I'm at the best and only getting better. That's what he said yesterday. He is confident in his play. I don't know where the peak is. I've always trying to push the envelope. I'm always trying to get better every aspect of the game. I feel like there is tons of room for me to improve. Prescott said with 4,700 yards this season, Dak would surpass both Tony Romo and Troy Aikman for the Cowboys' all-time leading passer. So when you start looking at this and things, and he talks about potentially leaving the Dallas Cowboys, if something like that happens, I'm certainly ready for it. In other words, what he's basically saying is, Jerry, I love being a Dallas Cowboy. I love being here. I'd like to have my career. This is where I dreamed about playing my career here. And I'm surprised he didn't put on there winning a Super Bowl here. That's his goals. That's what he wants to have happen. But if it don't work out, it's okay. I'm not going to jump off a bridge. I'm not going to lose my mind. I will accept that and move on. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the challenges. And this is a message to Jerry Jones. Jerry and Stephen Jones. It's like, listen, bro, you can send over. Because, see, right now what we know is Stephen Jones is trying to play this in the court of public opinion. He's basically saying, we sent over offers. We sent over offers to them. We're just waiting to hear back. Evidently, the offers might not be that good, that the Cowboys are sitting there waiting and twiddling their thumbs, waiting to hear back from them. And I'm sure Todd France is like, let them sweat. Let them sweat. Or this is a joke. And there ain't no point in responding to this. We know that the Joneses are not going to go ahead and say, hey, let's go ahead and let's just get this thing done. No, they are the type of people that always have to feel that they're getting the best of everything as far as the deal goes. But in the end, it seems like everybody fleeces them. And you can blame Dak all you want, but you have to blame where the real blame belongs, the ineptitude of the negotiation dealing and the deadlines make deals get done bullcrap that we get from the Cowboys. And if I am Dak Prescott, as Demario Davis pointed out sitting right here, he is an independent contractor. He gets a 1099. He is his own CEO of his corporation. And the goal of every corporation is to make as much money as possible. CEOs don't care if you have to spend every nickel to buy what they sell. They don't care if you don't have enough money to buy groceries because you're paying for your meds from them. They don't care about anything but getting their money. And I don't know why we expect Dak Prescott or Eddie CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons or Osin Digizua or any player out there wanting to get the most possible. That's the way it is. Hell, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones want to get the most possible out of you and me, bro. Okay, out of you. Because I don't see them saying, you know what, we're worth over $9 billion. Let's give a break to the fans. How about we just have, a discount game? We'll go through and we'll say, we're going to take 25% off a game ticket for the fans because they've paid so much that we want to give them a home team discount. You know what? We're going to have 50-cent hot dogs for this game because we're looking out for the fans because we've made so much money on it. We want to give back to them because we're a team player. How about DirecTV? That the NFL got the judge to overturn the settlement so they can continue to take their business model where I'm paying for Sunday ticket, basically, so I can see the Cowboys. I guess about 3 games they won't be on regular TV, and see the Eagles and the Giants. Come in. I get it. I'm also I use it more than most people, but most people only want to see their team play. But you still got to spend $400. Oh, and mind you, if you want to see the Eagles play against the Packers on that Friday, you got to have Paramount TV. You got to have Paramount TV. Oh, and if you want to see Thursday night football with the games that don't necessarily are very good ones, you got to have Amazon. Got to have Amazon. And then, of course, you got to have ESPN to see Monday night football. Let's see, who else did I forget? Let's see, we got Paramount, we got Amazon, we got YouTube TV, we got, they're all over the place. I don't see them saying we're going to give you guys a home team discount. So I don't know why people look and say Dak Prescott should. We constantly hear him say, well, Dak should be like Tom Brady and take less money. I don't know of anybody right now. I'm checking around because Trevor Lawrence didn't do that, did he? Jared Goff didn't do that, did he? Tua didn't do that, did he? I don't see anybody out there. And so you're asking a guy to do something that nobody else is doing. They're having this discussion on ESPN, Get Up. And this is actually really good because Marcus Spears and Teddy Bruschi are talking about it. Teddy Bruschi is on the thing of, it's the players' fault that they're not winning these things. But Marcus Spears actually has the perfect comeback on that and rationale because, as he put it, the way the Joneses are doing business, is not a model that has worked for anybody. This is not the way they did business back in the 90s. In the 90s, they signed a Deion Sanders. They signed a Charles Haley. They made trades with Herschel Walker. They brought in different players to try and upgrade and get better. They used all the tools available to them. This is not the same Dallas Cowboys that was there in the 90s. They had Jimmy Johnson, who was the director of player personnel. Not Stephen Jones, not Jerry Jones. They had great coaches that could take a player like a Mark Spiknowski, who's a guard, and convert him into a center. They had great play callers like a North Turner. And they gave them the tools that they needed to win. When you look around today's NFL, when you look at most of the Super Bowl winning teams, from the Tampa Bays to the Rams to the Eagles even, they go out there, they build a team, and they go out there and they top it off with extra talent. That is the Cowboys' problem.
Is starting to talk about the future, and he's starting to talk about it differently than he used to. He was asked about the potential of playing for another team as he enters this contract year, and here is what he said.
About the future at times, and as I said, I looked up, and as I said, all great quarterbacks, and it's honestly a lot of quarterbacks that have done that, and that's just the business and the nature of this game, and that's me not being naive to that and to those potentials. And as I said, something like that happens, I'll be most certainly ready for it. I'm here in training camp and focused on this year. I'm on a contract for this year, and that's all I really care about. I get to play with these guys, get to play for a team that I love, and that's where my focus lies.
Okay, so once again, I feel the need to say this. Dak Prescott has said exactly the right thing in basically every circumstance that he has been asked a question from the moment he became this team's starting quarterback, which happened when he was a rookie. So those are all exactly the right things for him to say. But when you hear him talking about a future on other teams, when you hear him think, you know that he's thinking about, well, Aaron Rodgers is on another team, and Brett Favre finished on another team, and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and all those guys. I mean, how does a Cowboy fan feel when they hear Dak already with one eye on a different future?
Well, I'm not sure how they feel because Cowboy fans get in their feelings about what Dak does in the playoffs, but play a season without him. Mm-hmm. Play a season trying to figure out who your quarterback is, and you find yourself not making the playoffs, and things are going abysmal, and guys don't want to come play in Dallas because they don't have a quarterback that they feel like they can win with. Here's the problem. Here's the issue. And, G, we talked about this. It goes back to 5 years ago when they should have got a deal done earlier with Dak Prescott. Now you find yourself in this situation. And when I'm listening to Dak Prescott personally, the company guy stuff is over. It's done. We start talking about him coming out of his shell this year, saying things, and obviously he's a very pronounced guy, but Dak, to me, it felt like he turned the corner as opposed to trying to do everything right and just start saying what the truth is. And the truth is, he knows that I have all the leverage in the world. I'm not going to sit here and play games with Jerry and Stephen Jones. I know that I may be somewhere else, and somewhere else is probably going to give me $60 million a year playing quarterback.
Yeah, somewhere else or there. Someone's going to. So, Teddy, we had a good conversation about this earlier this morning. What is your perspective on how you see this with Dallas, with Dak, and with the way the owner views the situation?
Yeah, I like this Dak. I like this Dak just realizing how to play the game also. I mean, saying the right things in terms of being the team leader, like you're saying, Greeny, and which Marcus is saying also. But still, now it's like, hey, man, if you guys don't need me and you want me to move on, I'm ready to do that too. That shows a lot of maturity. That shows a lot of, I don't care. But then on the flip side, Jerry Jones may be saying, I want to see a motivated Dak. Maybe that'll change things because I'm tired of paying players for just outstanding performance when I want to get to NFC Championship games and Super Bowls, and that hasn't been happening. So how do I get all three of these guys paid, or which one do I let play under a little bit of pressure and upset him just a little because these quarterbacks are sensitive? These quarterbacks know that there's only 32 of them in the entire world that are starting quarterbacks, and maybe if you get them a little motivated, you get an MVP performance out of Dak because I think he's absolutely capable of doing that. So both sides are playing the game here. Jerry wants to get him paid, but maybe he wants to see what he's like when he doesn't. And then Dak saying, if you want to, man, I'm going to be fine because I know I'm good. I love it.
Does it make sense to you, Mark? I mean, the strategy here for Jerry. See, here's how I interpret this, Marcus. You tell me if I'm missing this. You're much closer to it than I am. Jerry kept saying, I'm all in. And we all took that to mean all in like the Jets are all in. They're going to sign this guy and that guy and do everything they can and mortgage the future. And then he came into the beginning of camp and he had his little state of the team address. And I realized what he means by all in is it's all or nothing. Guys, this is on you. Mike McCarthy, get it done now or you're done. Dak Prescott, get it done now or I'm going to find someone else who I think can. I think he's saying to his team, I've put together a good enough team that we should have done more than this. I'm giving you one more year to show me.
Yeah, all that sound good, all right? But here's what pisses me off so much about this conversation. Can you look at your next door neighbor in your division?
Which one?
The Philadelphia Eagles and realize what they've done to actually try to go win Super Bowls and win one? Can you take a template from the team in Kansas City? Can you take a template from the team in Cincinnati when they realized that they had a quarterback that could play at a high level? Jerry has done nothing in the semblance of what teams have done that we've seen play in NFC championships and Super Bowls. Nothing.
Jerry Jones has never gone through a breakup. Hembo pointed this out to me. Tony Romo, Troy Aikman, Danny White, Roger Staubach, Don Meredith. Now, not all those are Jerry Jones guys. All of them. Not one of those Cowboys quarterback ever played for another team. Jerry Jones has never gone through this. And Dak has two forms of leverage that we don't talk about enough. He's got money in the bank, first of all, career earnings of $160 million. He is not playing from the desperate point of trying to make life changes. He's there, right? And the other form of leverage is the acceptance, something that Tom Brady had to go through when he was in New England, the acceptance of playing somewhere else. Dak Prescott saying that?
He's already there.
Man, listen, G, I told you earlier. I said the Oakland Raiders are going to pay Dak $60 million to come play quarterback for them. And he's going to walk into a situation that may be a newfound. Look, we never have a conversation about Dak being a good quarterback. It's always about the playoffs. Every team that's quarterback hungry knows that they have a guy that can play at a very high level in Dak Prescott. And I know we get so caught up in the right now. Don't you ever get it twisted. Dak Prescott will be the shining star of free agency for a number of teams. You think if Pittsburgh's situation don't work out, they wouldn't want Dak Prescott to be the quarterback? You think if Oakland, if they knew he was going to be a free agency, they wouldn't already get ready for him to show up? Man, I mean Las Vegas, pause on all of this. Oh, he ain't. Okay.
What does Jerry do then? What does he do then?
Turn to Trey Lance.
You want me to freak you out? I want you to see Jerry Jones's face when, hold on one second, Teddy, when the Giants hire Bill Belichick and sign Dak Prescott. Talk to me about that. All right, Teddy, I'm told you were nodding along. Go ahead, go.
Shoot, Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles, whatever it may be, where you send Dak Prescott is you're not going to win with a team that the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Jerry Jones has put together, you know, I don't want to say a championship team, but that roster is pretty darn good, and they've been in the games that have been meaningful in the last few years. Jerry hasn't failed. The players have failed. The coaches have failed. Jerry's paid all that money. Jeff talks about all the money that Dak has in the bank. You got all the money in the bank, but you got no rings in your closet because you can't get it done. I mean, Jerry is looking at all this and saying, I keep paying. I keep putting together all these teams, but when it comes down to it, we can't get it done. So do I just keep paying? Is that all I do? Is just keep paying and paying and paying these guys?
It ain't like he's hurting for cash.
Maybe they'll get it done one day while I just keep paying non-championship players for non-championship play when all I want is to win a Super Bowl, but they can't get it done.
He makes a good point.
I love it.
And the fact that he is in the unique position of not only being the owner, but the general manager, so the one who actually assembled the rosters, those failures become, they reflect on him in ways he doesn't like also. Marcus, it does make some sense.
It's so juicy.
It does.
It's so good.
I understand what Teddy is saying. The problem is no one has won a Super Bowl the way that Jerry Jones constructs a roster.
Well,
I don't care who you are or what you say. No one has done it. Philadelphia went to the Super Bowl because they made a lot of free agent pickups. The Kansas City Chiefs have been winning Super Bowls
they went to
because
the Super Bowl because they made plays when they had to make plays.
You don't
No,
think
the
Hassan
GM
Reddick had the
doesn't
19
fail when
and a
the
half
team-
sacks off free agency mattered? You don't think that mattered, Teddy?
No, when
you don't think it
the
mattered that
sacks
they
were
went and got
made- the
A.J.
sacks were
Brown?
made in the game.
Like, so
They
if
were-
we're
and the
saying
plays were made
if
in the
we're
games.
saying that players are the reason that teams go to NFC championships and AFC championships and Super Bowls, you telling me Dallas has been better than the teams in the NFC that have went there? Because coincidentally, the teams in the NFC that have been to the Super Bowl, they make free agent moves. Trent Williams going to San Francisco put them over a hump.
Yeah.
It put them over a hump.
There you go.
See, Christian McCaffrey, after a team went to the Super Bowl, was traded to San Francisco for them to continue to try to go to the Super Bowl. Just give me one move that Dallas has made like that. Just name me one.
Thank you.
That they've made like that.
Do you keep? Oh, all right, but here's one you don't. You keep paying the players that can't get it done.
Paying who?
Oh, Lordy. See, that's where the haters come in. Here's the thing. Those other teams, they have a decent quarterback. They have a decent offensive line. And they say, that's still not enough. They top it off. I'm sorry, Teddy. Teddy, maybe you took too many shots there. I'm sorry. You're blind if you honestly look and say that the Dallas Cowboys and everything they've done is the same as what San Francisco has done. The same of what the Eagles have done. The same thing that Tampa Bay did when they were an 8-8 team and bringing in Gronk, Sue, and Tom Brady. Just not. It's not enough just to have homegrown talent. You have to fill in the voids. And I'm sorry, people, when you have Marquez Bell, who's a 207-pound safety, playing linebacker, trying to stop a running team, that's not on the players. That's not on the players. That is on the front office who lost Overshown in the preseason, relying on a rookie right there, and Van Der Esch, who had problems with his neck and back throughout his career, that you rolled the dice and did nothing to supplement your team. You can't put this all on just the players because you don't have enough when it comes down to crunch time to complete with teams like San Francisco that have a Christian McCaffrey, that have a Greenlaw, that have, the defensive line with Nick Bosa and Armstead, and they go out and they get a Randy Gregory and a Chase Young and stuff. You put those two guys together, you got a great player, or at least great play on the field. The Cowboys don't do that. They go for UFL guys. They go for guys who haven't been in the league for the last year. That's what they do. And if these guys that they're signing, these bottom basement players, were great, then why are they unemployed? Why are they unemployed? If you ask me, I look at the Dallas Cowboys and saying they're not underachieving for what they have in comparison to everybody else. I'll actually say they were overperforming. All right, good people. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We'll be doing our live stream 9 o'clock Eastern tonight. It'll be our last live. Well, no, we'll do one Saturday. We'll do the members only chat tomorrow because Sunday's going to be hectic because getting to the airport and going by to see my daughter's storage and then getting to Oxnard and getting checked in to the hotel and motel and the Holiday Inn and all that stuff. It's going to be quite a bit. It's going to be crazy on Sunday. So we'll do the members stream tomorrow and we'll get you covered. As always, I appreciate you guys. Peace out.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is